Hey, what's up, everybody? The Amazing here, bringing a review. This time it's the SH Figuarts Batman Justice League. So, let's get started. Real quick, I want to start by saying this is the version from the Justice League. It is them bringing stuff to the table, considering that Mayfix has been the one to pretty much bring us stuff from the Batman v Superman things and Justice League so far. Well, at least Mayfix is the one who's put out the most amount of pre-orders. SHF is the first to do it, besides Mattel, who obviously has the rights for it because that's who they are. But anyway, so far I like the figure. There's some gripes that I have, and overall, it's still an SH figure. So you know what to expect most of the time from it. I feel like some things could have been different, but again, we'll get into that. So first thing I want to do is talk about the cape. SHF is doing it, well, not SHF, sorry. Bandai themselves are doing their best to bring us cloth capes. And what's really cool about that is they finally listen to a bit of the fans and what we want and bringing things to the table. I like this design. I like this cloth look. I'm a really simple guy when it comes to capes. As long as it's long, it can flow and it can hold a pose really well. I'm not against it. So this one, while not as good as the Mayfix one, it is pretty good in terms of holding up. So like as you see here, you can get it nice to look dressed down. You get it nice to fold in as well. The folds that are in it underneath actually help it fold in really well to look really nice behind him. So I'm a big fan of that. So next up, I want to talk about the head sculpt. I think it actually looks like Ben Affleck. I don't really have an issue to say why it's not. A lot of people say that it's too fat this, it's too fat that. Well, if you saw Justice League, Ben Affleck was looking pretty fat. So I think it's pretty accurate. I mean, you can disagree. That's fine. This is my personal preference. But personally, I still like it. I like the big, bulky Batman. It's the proof that he's older. It's rougher. It's more reminiscent of the Dark Knight's Return stuff. Which, honestly, I like the art style of it. But I like this whole modernized look of it. So it's really cool. Chest-wise, articulation, and on the midsection, it's a little different. You have the butterfly joint that can fold out, as you can see. And you still have bicep swivel, but it's undercut inside the joint. So it won't be here on the outside. It's actually on the inside. So you can still rotate it all the way around, as you clearly can see. And with the butterfly joint, it allows you to get a little bit of extra. So as you can see, Batman still gets his full range of motion without losing the aesthetic that he has, which is pretty cool. But I mean, it's not for everyone. Personally, I'm okay with it. Again, it gets the job done. Batman's arms seem to be double jointed, but his gauntlets kind of get in the way of that. So you may want to shave those down and repaint it for those that customize. Maybe easy for you guys to do that. But as you can see, normally this is where they stop. So you got to be a little careful for that. Don't, force it and break it. But as you can see, you can still go pretty far in and pretty far up. So that's pretty good. One thing I want to point about, the blades on the side actually hurt. So please don't hurt yourself. It's easy to cut yourself, poke yourself, or even poke your eye out. It's Christmas time, so be careful. So just be careful with that. I do like the different range of color. It brings a little bit of difference to the suit, especially considering the Batman v Superman's one with black. So it matches the palette here that's on the belt as well. And talking about the belt in the midsection, I want to get into that because you don't get traditional ab crunch going forward. What it is just like Ryu from Street Fighter. The ab crunch actually comes from the lower part of the body. So what you want to do is you want to turn and rotate in. And as you clearly can see, he has much better ab crunch than first thought to be believed. So a lot of people don't think that he have ab crunch, but he does. It actually crunches very well, as you clearly can see here. I like the, what did I do? I think I broke something. Oh yeah, I knocked off something off his belt. See? That's just like me and my luck. Oh, here it is. Actually, that's pretty cool. Actually, I knocked off the main symbol. So, voila. I'm going to glue that back in. But as you can see, that's the one thing about ab crunch. I forced it too far, and that's what you get. But I do like that it's a simple ball joint. You can pop it back up. So just like that, guys, just in case you didn't know. Also, for those of you who are probably going to modify it, if you shave this down, you'll probably be able to get more forward crunch. I didn't tell you that. If you don't want to believe me, that's cool. It's all on you on testing it. I'm probably going to test it out after this review. Now, leg articulation, you get a little bit of the best of both worlds. You get the little drop down method, and you still get the full thigh swivel, which I am a huge fan of because it allows you to get a huge range of motion, just like with the Mayfix one. So again, it goes down to that forward ab crunch. You can use the butterfly joints, you can rotate, and just like that, you now have a running Batman, flying Batman, lunging Batman, punching Batman. The body proportions are really wide, and really done really well. But again, aesthetically wise, a lot of people just aren't pleased with it. And I understand why. They want it to be as accurate as possible, looking like Ben, talking like Ben, and doing all the Ben Affleck look. For some people, it has to be completely accurate or not accurate at all. So I totally get people's preference with this. As far as ankle pivot, you actually get it to rotate like this. There's toe pivot as well. Circulates all the way around, 360 degrees. You actually get a nice full range that you can actually pull it out and get a little bit more as well too. So again, there's a lot to be brought to the table with the figure. It's really nice. It's not that different from other Batman figures, which also puts it into play where it's like, oh, I'm not getting anything special, so it doesn't matter. People want something to be special when brought something to the table, which I did forget. The head articulation can look up, can look down, actually can't look down. You look straight, rotate the neck. So you may want to worry about the neck articulation because looking up is probably the best he can do, but he does rotate all the way around. So overall, a little underwhelming for those who were expecting a lot. But again, I wait for things to come in and then I kind of just play to his strengths. So for me, I'm totally happy with it. But again, if you were totally excited for this and expecting more, I could understand why you'd be let down overall with the figure. Now, as far as accessories and things that he come with, Batman comes with 2 relaxed hands. Because, he want to relax sometime. Or grab things, or mush in bad guys' heads, or murder them. Things like that. That's what happens in the Zack Snyder universe. You also get 2 hands for holding batarangs, both left and right. And as you can see, I put the batarang in his hand, which holds actually really, really exceptionally well. Doesn't fall out. So yeah. Then you also get a hand, left and right, for holding the grapple gun. The grapple gun comes like this. It's actually really cool, and it's quite tiny. So there's also a tiny part that I'm going to talk about in a second, as soon as I get this hand off. If I ever get this hand off. Now, the grapple gun is really cool, but the grapple gun comes with a tiny, tiny piece that you can exchange where you take out. I don't know if you guys can notice, but that is extremely tiny. And you can exchange it with a grappling hook part that allows for more extra grapples. So if you want to grapple more things, that's how you do it. See? One thing I do want to point out is that I really like it. And this is me, this is my preference. I tend to like things to be simple, to feel natural, and I feel like I get that with this Batman. But I can totally understand if you wouldn't like it. I totally understand if you feel like it's too fat, especially when comparing to the Mafex, it was really thin. And when comparing it to the Mezco, it was also maybe too fat for a Mezco. So again, proportion-wise, I could totally see why people are griping about it. It's really difficult. One thing I did forget to do was take out the Mezco Batman to compare it to, but I'll probably do it in the photos after so you guys can at least see a photo of it. But I totally forgot to do it for this. But comparing it wise, people also think that it's way too small. Now, here's the thing. It's still SHF. So when you compare it to other SHF, it's actually just fine. It's only when you compare it to other things. One of my gripes with people is that I don't care for scaling. All I care about is whether or not the figure is cool. All that scale stuff, I throw it out of the window. I stop believing in all that because at the end of the day, there's too many companies doing too many different things to care about what other companies are doing. And that's the thing that I don't think that people actually want to worry about. So as you can see, he is smaller than Deadshot, which might be a problem for some because Deadshot should be smaller than Batman. I get it. I totally do. So as you can see with Deadshot, he's a little too small. But when you compare him to SHF Captain America, they're probably about the same height. Again, Batman seemed too small, but height-wise, when you clone them to the point it is, they're about the same height, When you compare him to an SHF Kamen Rider, Shokek Seiho, about the same size. Actually, yes, the same size. When you compare him to an Articulated Icons Ninja, about the same size. You compare him to a DC Icons, and this one is Dick Grayson, so he's upscaled. Not that bad of a size, but smaller. Here he is compared to a Marvel Legends Spider-Me. Now, even next to a Marvel Legends Spider-Man, he does not look that small. So I don't understand where the complaints come from. But again, that's just me. Here he is compared to a Mafex Wonder Woman with a custom paint job by Monster Mash for the head. He's much smaller than her. But then again, Wonder Woman is an Amazon, so that doesn't even matter. And here is the kicker that people care about the most. Here he is next to the Mafex Batman, which proportion-wise, he is much wider, and this Batman is much slimmer, but he's taller. So again, I could see why people would have gripes about it. You know what I mean? Real quick, one thing I want to test out because people didn't like the Batman head for SHF is that I'm going to swap around these heads because you guys actually care about that kind of stuff. So if you want, the head actually fits on there. It looks pretty decent. The problem is that the peg is too large, so you may have to put some sticky tack in there, but overall it's fine. And just for giggles, you can actually put on the one you get with the Harley Quinn dress to create the rebreather Batman. Really cool stuff. Overall, really happy with my Batman. It was a little lackluster in the term of accessory-wise, which, you know, it sucks because you would expect more, especially from Batman having a bunch of gadgets. But then again, they're probably saving that for a tactical suit or whatever it is you're going to get it with. But I'm happy with it. I just wish that he came with a little bit more, and I do wish he probably came with an unmasked head. Really would have liked that, especially considering how unmasked he was in the movie. But yeah, that's it. In the meantime, guys, hope you found this informative. I hope you enjoyed it, and if not, sorry I couldn't help you. In the meantime, be good, do good, drink your water. Later, guys.